Everything in the world is changing now because of Donald Trump. Everything. You are watching, you are in the midst of a revolution that cannot be overstated, cannot be overexplained. What is happening right now is changing the globe. It is changing everything, the way we think, the way we act, the way we are. Every single thing of the world is changing. And you are fighting. You have the radical left that doesn't know what to do. I mean, they are spiraling out of control, and they're dangerous. We're going to be talking today about the significance of Fidelito's boy, the Dauphin, Justin, stepping down from office, getting a copy of the home game. Why this is important. Why Pierre Poilievre is so critical. Why this movement. What Elon is doing in Europe. What he is doing to scare Starmer. What he is doing regarding child predation. Elon Musk has done more to make the world aware of what is happening to children than anything anybody has done since Donald Trump. We've never seen anything like it. And it's gotten not only just a re-awareness, but a kick in the... Now we're going to talk about this, and also this is really important and really critical. Ever since, well, not ever since, but in addition to Tavistock and others, there have been indicators of societal change that I want you to focus on. And there are some things that you might think, well, this doesn't really matter. There's a movie or a musical lesson, Amelia Perez or Perez, that people are going to miss. It is the harbinger. It is the prescient. It's going to win the Academy Award. They are telling you. Remember, the Academy Awards and Golden Globes, these are all bought. These have nothing to do with legitimacy, who's who. Somebody didn't get it for a while. Somebody is Tonys do that to an extent. This is one of the institutional bastions of the left. So we're going to talk about that. So we're going to talk about two subjects and others. A little bit of Tavistock too, and why that's incredible. Why you have to focus on this. But what Canada means, what Justin means, and what Hollywood is, they're fighting desperately. And oftentimes, many people that we know in our circles will say, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. It matters like you cannot believe. So get ready, my friends, to talk about that. Now, in addition, as I told you before, we need just 38 more subscriptions for Mrs. L. Just 30, and I put her link up above for her to hit 9,500. What? Wait a minute. What am I saying? Oh, you're right. Excuse me. Well, that's okay. I like 38 better. We're trying to get 9,500. We want 10,000. And why do I say this? Why? Because on January the 19th, the day before the inauguration, in fact, she was born. This was so critical. Right on the Kennedy inauguration, right before. This little beautiful bundle of joy was brought to us from the heavens. And if you want to give her the greatest birthday gift ever, subscribe. And I put the link right here for you, okay? What did that mean? That didn't sound good. All right. But here's what we need to know. Before we do this, before we move on, I want you to listen to something which is becoming more and more critical. I can't emphasize this enough regarding debt and how people are, despite all of the excitement and wealth and majesty of MAGA, there are people right now who are terrified. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. Now, my friends, let's talk about something which is happening. Very, very critical, very, very important. Too many times, for the longest time, many of us have looked the other way when it comes to international matters. We always felt not only that we were the exceptional country, we were in this island, it didn't matter. We set the course. People followed us. Whatever they wanted to do didn't matter. Unless there was a war, Vietnam or something, but we were never really, after World War II, we wanted to stop communism. But whatever the French wanted to do, it didn't matter. Whatever happened, we were the center of the universe. It's not true. Not true by a long shot. And I just put out, we have it's not a newsletter. It's Lionel News. And you must subscribe to Lionel News. The same thing goes for Mrs. L News. There are stories I want you to know. The more you know, the greater the perspective, the sharper that things are, the better you are. I'm telling you right now, listen to me carefully. You have to know everything. And when something happens, whenever the Golden Globes or the Academy Awards, far too often, many in our camp will say, I don't care about that. I don't watch that. That's not my thing. I don't care. I don't have cable. I don't care about that. I don't go to the movies. I don't watch CNN. I don't use Twitter. People have been just fond of, I don't watch that. I don't know that. I don't know anything about that. Who cares about that? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? If you really want to know real intel, societal intel is giving you it in spades. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's extremely critical. Extremely. Now, I just put out this early morning edition of Lionel News. Very interesting. Lionel News. Let me read this thing to you, this is really good. Now, you know that there has been suggestions of Fidelito being a Justin, the Dauphin, the eldest son, the Delfino, the scion, suppose. Anyway, and they've been talking about that. If you honest to God knew the number of people who themselves have been, who were actually not who you think they were in terms of parenting and the like, it would shock you. Here's a little experiment for you. Take some time out and look at the picture. Look at some of the pictures of Chelsea Clinton and Webb Hubbell. Now, I've heard. Now, these are rumors, and rumors sometimes are interesting. Rumors are more often than not either the truth or based in the truth. Either the truth or based in the truth. You hear what I'm saying? Either the truth or based somehow in the truth. And years ago, I remember somebody saying, and this is just on just talking to people. Somebody said, yeah, look at Webb Hubbell and Chelsea Clinton. And so help me, before Chelsea had her very significant work done, she had the Webb Hubbell mouth. Talk about the Habsburg mouth. This one you can't believe. So somebody said one time, yeah, it's Webb's. I thought, wait a minute, how do you know this? And the statement was made something to the effect of, yeah, you kidding? Bill's had to clap so many times he's shooting blanks or something like that. And I thought, wait a minute, I don't know why that would affect anything. But it made me think, wait a minute. Let's delve into this. I don't know what his story has been, but he was always has been of the bit of the predator notion, but for different reasons. You see, John F. Kennedy was like this, like a rabbit, gone. Have you ever watched? Have you ever had the chance? Have you ever been in a barn? A friend of mine, this guy raised rabbits. And I remember as a kid, I never saw anything like this. I said, "What's that? What was that? Are they fighting?" No, that's it. Boom. That's it. That's the act. That's it. Intromission. And there's no intermission during intromission. And I watched, I said, that's it? And I was a kid, I said, that's it? I didn't know what it was. I didn't even know what the act was. But it was this guy, Vincenzo, next to my grandmother. And he had all these rabbits. And I remember this. I said, this is interesting. And by the way, they were very matter of fact. They were saying, the guy could barely speak Sicilian, could barely speak English. But that was Kennedy. His was just conquest, mark the wall, urinate on the wall, mark the territory. I got it, move on. That's it. That was his thing. That was his, nothing to do with being a lover or nothing. Bill Clinton, different story. His was more of trying for acceptance because women have always been difficult because of his he was always trying to vie for his mother's affection, and he would often try to protect her from her first husband. What was his name? Bly or whatever it was. Anyway. There's always something deep, deep, deep. Well, Justin Trudeau and his mother was a Bhutaneda. Studio 54, which, by the way, is kind of in the hood. Now it's a kind of a off-Broadway thing. But she was everybody's friend. You know what I mean? Everybody liked her. You know what I mean? So this is what she was raised. And Pierre was another story. Look at Pierre and look at Justin. Now look, I don't know about you. Remember there were stories about things you have to realize. There was this famous story about somebody who knocks on the door and he has suspicions and he has a cleft chin and his daughter's. That was autosomal. That had to be that's his daughter. And there's all this stuff about basically Mendelian genetics. Well, for the long time, people said that perhaps Fidel might have been. If you look at the royal family, Prince Andrew, Lord Porchester, Porchy, Harry, and Major Hewitt, go down the list. This is considered nothing. This is no big deal. Look at Andrew, how he looks like nothing. He doesn't have that not the Habsburg look, but that stupid Windsor look. Porchester. And they know this. And they look at you and they say, no, it's not. They love doing it. No, Biden's okay. No, Biden's okay. You don't, no, Biden's okay. What do you mean Biden's okay? Yeah, it's fine. No, he's not. Oh, he's fine. Sharp as right, Merrick Garland? Absolutely. What do you, they gaslight you in reverse. You say somebody's crazy, and they say, no, he's not crazy. Normally, it'd be, they would say, you're crazy. But this is the way they've been doing this for the longest time. That's why you can't remember anything that they listen to. But also, they love symbols, and they love to do things right in your face, right smack dab in your face. Sparky, by the way, says, free Canada from the Castro regime. I think that will be done. Polyev is doing it. Next Canada, remember the War of 1812. Who could forget? It was in all the papers. And by the way, Sparky, when was the War of 1812? Free Greenland from Danish tyranny. You were on a roll, my friend. And who needs rare earth minerals and other natural resources from Ukraine when Canada and Greenland are right next door? Perfide Albion. Therese Pollard says, Canada can't take this Trudeau abuse anymore. Time is now. Well, he's leaving. He's leaving. Will Trudeau work to revitalizing Cuba? That remains to be seen. And George Gidman from Canada says, Margaret Trudeau's mother was a very spirited woman. Just ask the Rolling Stones. Oh, she was a slut. I mean, I don't know. Listen, we got to use these words. Look, if the gay community can embrace words like queer, well, we can embrace slut. She was a slut. She's like Oleo, the low price spread. Remember that one? That was from my youth. I thought that was the funniest joke in the world. But this is the way it is. This was a part of a wave. This is like anything else. This is fashion. This is a load of things. Now, let me remind you again. Please, dear friend, you must go, and I say this again, to the Lionel Nation News. And today, I'm giving you kind of a peroration. This is out right now. Make sure you sign up for it. There's a link. Make sure you sign up. And also check your spam. I guess sometimes an email says, I don't get my news. I said, well, check because you're clearly listed. In any event, they're reporting that there is Justin Trudeau's imminent resignation as prime minister. And it marks a clear part, not just for Canada politics, but for global politics, political dynamics. For nearly a decade, he has positioned himself as the champion of really overt liberal values. I mean, hardcore. Just like the New Zealand chick with the bad teeth who can eat an apple through a tennis racket. Remember this one who was knighted? Remember her? Arresting people on beaches. She's more of the totalitarian. There are all these people who say, I'll do this. Like, any volunteers? I'll do this. Justin, you want to take? Okay, I'll be the flaming lib. Okay. And of course, when you live in a world where your mother is a harlot, a courtesan, a meretrix. It's a great word. Not really a virago, but I love meretrix and meretrices, a putana, as we'd say. Somebody who is, there's one thing for a woman to, or a man for that matter, to enjoy liberation in terms of amour. It's another thing when they sell their soul and have no self-respect. It's a different story. When you feel you have to do that in order to earn fame and significance. But his tenure has been marred by scandals, policies, controversies, and a perceived and valid inability to address Canada's very serious economic problems. Now, his leadership or lack thereof, once, remember, it was celebrated. It was for its progressive appeal. It faces now overwhelming, staggering rejection from a disillusioned Canada. Good people, by the way, but disillusioned. His approval ratings have plummeted with 28% approval. 28. 68% disapproval. And this collapse seems to have coincided or been concomitantly connected to the resurgence of conservatism across Canada, epitomized, shown by the rise of Donald Trump and the MAGA movement here. Don't forget that. And look what Elon Musk is doing. Elon Musk is going to transform Europe, and if you transform Europe, it transforms the world. You got that, Steve Bannon? You got that, Laura Loomer? You got that? Paying attention to this? I know you want the attention, but understand who's really making headway here. Now, Justin's potential resignation is going to happen is really caused by multiple sources. Economic instability, inflation, the usual stuff, housing shortage. It's crippled Canadian confidence. And Canadians are good people. By the way, remember one thing, Canada has provided more in terms of comedy and music. And I think its greatest, I'm going on a limb here, but the greatest is really the Guess Who. Not the Guess Who. Joni Mitchell, yeah, certainly, yeah. Burton Cummings, Randy Bachman, not Bachman, but Burton Cummings. Listen to Rain Dance, listen to Road Food, Power in the Music, Star Baby, yeah, Undone, yeah. Share the Land, No Sugar Tonight. I mean, Burton Cummings is a monster. And Road Food, probably one of the greatest guitar solos ever. That's how good they are. Okay? And you know the jokes about Canada. How do you get 100 Canadians out of the pool? By asking them to get out of the pool. Oh, yeah. Wonderful people, great people, love them, and they deserve our, we are one. Come on. Even though they say a boot, when it comes to hacky, forget it. Now, even his own Liberal Party turned against him. And they've been screaming for his resignation, intensifying after the loss of safe seats in special elections. Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland, she resigned in December, highlighting again and showing and showcasing this internal party division is beautiful. And as she openly criticized Justin, her departure told the world, it basically signaled a breaking point with Trudeau's closest allies abandoning him at a time when his political survival depended on unity, and he's through. And by the way, remember, go back and try to catch Justin with Xi Jinping. Oh my God. When he tells him, because Xi Jinping he's got that one expression, he says, I didn't tell you to say that in public. That was private. What are you telling people in public for? That was private. I mean, that one G7 where he shows up and nobody sits with him. Second only to Ivanka, the way they gave her the stink eye. In any event. Now, the impact of this, of his return to prominence, can't be overstated. Trudeau's political brand, by the way, which was rooted in liberal internationalism, absolutely clashes, boom, with Trump's unapologetic nationalism and conservative resurgence. You can say whatever you want. Trump's threats of tariffs on Canadian goods placed immense pressure on him, basically telling him, look at what you're doing. The power of the tariff, beautiful. And this further exacerbates and worsens his inability to navigate the complex political. He doesn't know what the hell to do. And the suggestion that Canada might face a Trump-style, crackdown on immigration and border security reveals the extent to which U.S. policies influence not only Canada, but the world. Everybody is for safe and secure borders. Everybody. It makes sense. It's like locks on your door, locking you. You don't have to explain why it makes sense. Donald Trump has dominated the world. And in the political landscape, it's like nothing else. It underscores the waning and collapsing influence of leaders like Trudeau and this liberal progressive nonsense. And his tenure has been absolutely replete, riddled with every conceivable controversy you can imagine. Remember wearing blackface and then saying, I can't tell you how many times I wore blackface. Most people have worn blackface, ever. They don't say, I can't tell you. You can't tell us it once? Now, by the way, I don't want to get into that blackface. Remember, one of the greatest ever was Robert Downey Jr. And Robert Downey Jr. was let go because he was preferred. He was one of the chosen. But his Tropic Thunder, and by the way, the one profane reference from Elon Musk, that was Tropic Thunder. Tropic Thunder was a great movie. Sparky says Hank Snow was from Canada. Appropriate. So was the great Anne Murray. A little good news today. One of the best songs she ever did. Gordon Lightfoot, yep. If you could read my mind. Don't forget Tantric Artist. Skill given by Mother from Child to Fortune by Norman Spinrad. This book is allegory for the college experience. Dear God. Thank you. I like that. Very, very frightening here. Now let's move on. Remember recently there was the blackface. Remember when he was attending the Taylor Swift? What was that Taylor Swift concert? He was there and he was giving away bracelets and yeah, right. He was acting like a little, you know what I mean? You can't say this, but see, when people show this effeminate impuissance, that's the story. And he repeatedly faced all kinds of problems for this. This nonsense, coupled with inaction on issues of public safety and lawlessness, painted a picture of this guy completely out of touch. Out of touch. Now, globally, his resignation is symbolic and emblematic of a broader decline of leftists. Listen to what I'm saying. The decline at the end of leftist politics. And the growing influence, the growing movement, the advancement of conservatism, Trumpian conservatism, whatever it is, I'm for it. This is more than a fall from grace. This is a shifting world politics, a world landscape. Traditional liberal policies are dead. And we'll get to in a moment why Howley was going to fight back. This isn't just about Canada. It's about the world. And the rise of incredible leaders like Donald Trump and the growing movement of the Conservative Party in France, Le Pen and others, AfD in Germany, they can call them right-wing, far-right, it doesn't really matter. We are winning. And Trudeau, by the way, often criticized as Fidel's alleged son and a scion of elitist liberalism. He represents the old guard that is now swept aside and swept under the rug by these new people. Now, this political shift, this is important. This aligns with really what is the Great Reset, Klaus Schwab notwithstanding. This is a term associated with rethinking global economic, stuff, but this is huge. His leadership wants, you got to remember this symbolized an embrace of these ideas. His departure suggests a rejection of liberal everything. Liberal is going to go the word, it's going to have a stink to it, a fetid, feculent, rank smell to it. His resignation represents something so important for the great people of the great Canada. Why did his progressive leadership fail to resonate with the world? Why? How much of this can be attributed to Trump's influence? What does this resignation mean for the guy to watch, Pierre Poilievre? But it's Poilievre, forget it. Poilievre, Pierre Poilievre. He's married to a woman, I think she's Venezuelan. He is so articulate. I would love to switch him, because remember, the weakest link available now, the weakest link The weakest, bar none, is Marco Rubio. That is the one that I can take pretty much everything and anything. Marco Rubio, dear God. There is no way this little twit can handle the world. Sorry. But we'll get by. We'll get by. As a great Al Jarreau sang and intoned. We'll get by. I like to see those numbers, honey, on those numbers. Doing just fine. Moving right up there. Don't forget Mrs. L's birthday. Subscribe. Now, honey, they've got to understand that when we've got to get this message out. And the more subscribers she gets, and we get, it's obvious, the more we are into the preferred. We are recommended. Because we want the world to know about us. And you would not believe the censorship she goes through. You can't imagine it. And that's why what Elon Musk is doing regarding Starmer with the UK and a number of these Pakistani mobs and Tommy Robinson. Let me tell you something. This is huge, huge. You got that, Steve Bannon? Huge. Let me tell you about something. I want to read something from you. There was a wonderful book called Tavistock Institute, Social Engineering for the Masses. I want to read this one little thing. This is about how they would look at different counterculture movements as is not only accompanying or being concomitant with their particular moves, but indicative of other societal moves as well. Quote, drug counterculture was precisely the weapon that the Frankfurt School, remember the Frankfurt School? Have you done this? Do your research. And their fellow travelers employed over the next 50 years to create a cultural paradigm shift away from the so-called authoritarian matrix of man in the living image of God and the superiority of the Republican form of nation state over all other forms of political organization. Drug counterculture. This is more important than anything else. Remember what I've always said, and you know this. The most important person in your child's life is not you, but their friends. Sparky says, fun fact, Hank Snow's son is a preacher, and the oft-used clip in rock documentaries preaching against rock, saying the beat was corrupting the youth. Is this one? Rock and roll has got to go. Remember the mayor of Jersey City? Hank Snow, by the way, was I've been everywhere, man. That was the first rap. Try singing along with that incredibly complicated, syncopated rhythm of his. Sparky says, I think you missed my earlier super chat regarding Margaret Trudeau's whereabouts at the appropriate time. Let me see this. Margaret Trudeau. Oh, Margaret Trudeau was in Cuba, yes, visiting Fidel around that time, yes. As was the unavailability of Prince Philip during what would be the time of the creation of one Andrew. In fact, Queen Elizabeth's mother, the Queen Mum, called him our little miracle. Remember, whenever you take the birth date, add 3 to the month, and that's when it happened, usually. Get a good idea. Now let's talk about this. Let's talk about something which is very, very important and very, very critical. But before we do this, I want to make sure you understand a couple of things. Number one, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this without screaming or yelling or whatever it is. Something disastrous is going to happen. I don't know when, don't know why, don't know how, but you're going to need prepared food. Stores are going to be closed. We've got 9 days. I think the 15th, they said, they were talking about, remember that dock strike? We've got a lot of stuff happening right now. I think we're done with that Las Vegas talk, done with NOLA. They're waiting for something else. Last night, by the way, did you see how the LGBTQ folks are now going to gun ranges? And they all are demanding, do you see that, security and snipers? And these people who don't want you to be able to protect yourself now feel this incredible insecurity. Well, we want nothing to happen to anybody, but understand, they're telling you. And today, January the 6th, They'll never forget that. Never forget that. So, my dear friend, I ask you a very, very simple question. What do you think it is that we're going to be doing, or what do you think that is so critical right now coming up? The first thing you have to do is go to preparewithlionel.com and look at a 3-month emergency food slip. Just look at this. I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to demand it. But trust me, millions of people have done this, and this is the company. You cannot mimic by going to Costco. God bless Costco, but you can't go there and say, I'm going to get some MRE. No. This is the long haul. This is when it hits the fan. And our good friends at mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. God bless these folks. And the great, the inimitable, the ineffable Mr. Mike Lindell. mypillow.com/Lionel. Go there now and do your thing. Now let's talk about this. This is in the Lionel News. Subscribe to Lionel News coming up later. Let me give you a bit of a peek into this one. This is very interesting. And let me tell you right now, I get my information from my beautiful wife, who, by the way, whose birthday is the 19th. So subscribe. I'm telling you right now. Listen to what I'm saying. Subscribe. But I want to read this, and I have that link pinned for you to read. Let me see. Where is this? Here we go. Okay, listen to this one. Have you heard of Amelia Par? This is a cinematic sensation that absolutely swept the Golden Globes, and it's going to win the Academy Awards. It's not just a testament to the changing ideas and times of storytelling and cinematography, but it's a harbinger of Hollywood's steadfast and crazed commitment to its progressive and controversial ideals. Now, despite the political landscape shifting from the resurgence of conservatism, obviously exemplified by Trump and MAGA and everything else, Hollywood remains a bastion, a cauldron, the epicenter of leftist cultural expression. Amelia Par, gotta get the Castilian, Par, with its groundbreaking themes and provocative narrative, is poised to dominate the Oscars this year and is signaling a doubling down on transgender and progressive narratives in mainstream cinema, because those people aren't going anywhere. Now, the victory of the Golden Globes, where it won Best Film, Best Supporting Actress for Zoe Saldana, Best Original Song, and Best Film Not in the English Language, has catapulted it, my friends, to the forefront of the award season. This is why they're important. But remember, it's not just, you've never heard of it. I never heard of it. It doesn't matter. Don't tell me. I don't go to the movies. People that we know, they always do this. Well, I don't go to the movies. We don't care about you. Well, I just want you to know I don't go to the movies. Okay, fine. I don't go to the movies. What does that have to do with anything? This is not what this is about. These triumphs underscore a broader trend from Hollywood, where projects embracing this underrepresented, characters. Remember that one that won the Academy Award? It was that one year where he was in prisoners. I don't even know what it was. It was a dog, but it was part of the theme. 6 Academy Award shortlist nominations, including International Feature, Makeup and Hairstyling, Sound, Original Score, 2 songs. This is going to be the standard bearer. They're telling you this. Now, we can go this. I'm going to be explaining this later on. Sign up for Lionel News. I have the link. I called it a newsletter, but newsletter, that's not a newsletter. It's the news. It's cultivated, collated news. Because I want you to go out. I want you to know everything. I want you to be so again, imbued in the facts of this that you're just absolutely, you are simply the most the most over-informed. You got what I mean? You got what I mean? I've Been Everywhere, by the way, was penned and performed by an Australian comedian. It was a hit soon after an Australian group. Hank Snow picked it up and then Americanized it. This is a great tune. And by the way, this is one of Sparky's things, which is the genius of him. He's one of our favorites. Sparky will go off on something. He will say something. And somebody will say, I think I need an aspirin after this. And he'll say, fun fact, aspirin was developed as acetyl salicylic acid, which was used and by the umbango plant from the Madagascar and the island of Trinidad in the Moluccas. Next one, fun fact, aspirin has never been, more people die from aspirin. Aspirin, spelled backwards, is nip salad. It is a wonder, and indeed a wonder. Now, let us also go back to what's happening. This is so terrific. Everybody is freaking out. Have you seen the most beautiful girl? No. Have you seen the looks of absolute unbridled lust of Georgia Maloney? How women go nuts over Trump. Think about this. You've got, who was a guy with a beard last night? Who is this guy? He has a dress with a beard. Some actor. I don't know who this guy is. We're not focused on these people, goddammit. We're not focused. Because of your birthday, we're focused on your birthday. But here's the thing. Huh? Oh, they didn't even air this. Yeah, Golden Globe don't even know where it is. But the point is that they can throw this all you want. Here we have this guy, 78. Women go crazy. Not just because he's president. He has this thing. He exudes, shall I say, I don't want to say sexuality. That sounds so campy. But power, money. They love this. He's making America proud again. Mapa. What's going on? Are you following this? This is part of a movement. Now, there's other stuff which is terrific as well. I want you to keep this. Remember, this guy, Keir Starmer, they're talking, huh? It's snowing. Oh my God, it's snowing. Keir Starmer is calling for an inquiry into grooming gang failures and complains about misinformation on X. Let me say this again. And this is why I love this guy. Number one, I'm not saying anybody is perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But the left has this goofy guy, Soros, and we've got our man, Elon. And Elon doesn't just do... Soros is nothing. What does he do? He puts a couple of DAs, and he has nothing of the power. Nobody can get near. Elon and Trump are societal forces. You understand this? Sparky says, by the way, Hank Snow introduced Elvis to Colonel Tom Parker. Hank's breakout tune was I'm Moving On. He had hits such as I Don't Hurt Anymore and A Fool Such As I as well. Elvis did A Fool Such As I too. You see the genius of this? Is he a savant? Perhaps, but a good friend. Paul Rodriguez says, what's up with the poster worker snuffed in New York City? Well, we'll get to the bottom of that. I don't know. What's up with that? I don't know.
Is
a trans person.
They were in the deli line and had some kind of verbal confrontation, and the trans person stabbed the postal worker to death.
Trans person. I think you're going to find, and people will not ever deal with this, but when you are involved with any kind of hormonal switcheroos, oftentimes what you do is you get weird fluctuations in behavior, violence, and a number of other things. As you know, I knew a guy one time who was a recovering addict and alcoholic and went into steroids, human growth hormone and others. It put him in a sense of reintroducing puberty. One of the reasons why, you probably don't remember this, but one of the reasons why Mark McGuire was showing signs of PED use was he had zits on his back. And he went through all of the kind of the how do I say this? He went through the trials and tribulations of puberty again. So when you have people who are doing this, when you have people who act like this, when you have people who are playing around with hormones and the like, you can get some very dangerous, squirrely, crazy behavior. Think about that one. So anyway, the good news is that Elon and others are getting back at this. And people like Naomi Seipt and others from AFD, these people who were called Marine Le Pen. America has led the way for the world. I can't say this enough, dear friends. I can't say it enough. It is the greatest thing. Be proud. But pay attention. If you think for 1 minute these people are going away, you're out of your mind. Out of your mind. Out of your mind. You got it? Good. All right, my friends, I've got a bunch of stuff. Make sure you stay and remain subscribed. Raul Rodriguez, Sparky, you have been a veritable, it's funny, on a snow day, you have just delighted us with such snow lore from Hank Snow. We appreciate that. Cut Up Chatter, thank you as well. George Gidman, our friends from Canada, thank you. Raul Rodriguez, Therese Pollard, by the way. Thank you. Trudeau, I like that one. And what a day it's been. What a rare mood I'm in. And also, dear friends, make sure you follow. I say make sure that you follow Mrs. L. Again, it is her birthday. One more time, just follow her because we need to get her to 10,000 and then 100,000 to spread the word. Because what she's doing, 2025 for the Warriors, is going to be like nothing you've ever seen before. Washington, move over. Under the Biden administration, it was absolute death. Nobody was there. Nobody literally was there. And that's all changed. All right? Okay. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. See you later. Make sure you follow. I've got more stuff coming down the pike. And until we meet again this evening, remember these final words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. That.